Right.
Okay, so, and Sherry, let's just chat while we go get some more kids. Actually, you want to talk, Sherry?
I can introduce myself.
Yeah, introduce yourself.
Uh,
Sherry,
hi, Sherry.
just hang out a few minutes.
Yes.
We'll get some kids very soon. I'll be right back.
Yeah, no worries.
Good to see you, Sherry. Like remotely. All right. I'll be right
Yes,
back.
yes.
Okay? Okay. Yeah.
Hi, hello.
Yeah, Mr. Domens, I'm a new teacher here. This is my second year.
Mhm.
I came right when the pandemic was, it was September of 2020.
I see. That was the year right after I graduated. I graduated in June 2020. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so the first year was very particular
Mhm.
because the students have the option to come here,
Mhm.
have the instruction in person, or we have only like 8 students, and we came 2 days per week.
Wow.
We spend the whole year like that.
Hello.
Hi, Miss Maniares.
Wait, so what classes do you teach?
Right now, advanced painting
Mm.
and art history.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I wish I took advanced painting when I was in high school. I kind of regret not taking that class because I realized like art education is not like a free thing in college. Like when I was in high school, like
Mhm.
you would kind of do anything you wanted and like there were supplies, but like now that you're in college, like, if you want to do it, that's like on you.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I regret not taking advantage of it when I was in high school.
Hey guys.
Hi,
Sorry.
Miss Maniares.
Hi, Mr. Dimension. Are we waiting for one more class?
Maybe. Mr. Bakeless, when
You could get started. They're slowly gonna trickle in.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a classroom here too that's ready as well.
Oh, hello. I don't know if they can hear me, but hi.
Miss Kim
Hi,
is here.
Sherry.
Oh, hi, Miss Park. Should I just start or?
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Okay, so if anyone wants to listen, hi, you can go to the next page. You want to? I think you just click the next button, like the arrow key.
All right, Shirley, I got someone.
Oh,
Got one.
oh wait, go back to page before. This one. Oh, hello. I'll introduce myself. Oh, you can get seated first, actually.
Oh, Sherry Chen, yeah, Sherry. Should I go look for more people?
Okay, I'll start. Hi, my name is Sherry. I am a rising junior, which is kind of crazy, at CMU, Carnegie Mellon University. I study human-computer interaction and information systems at CMU. I was an art major at LAG back in 2020. That's when I graduated. This summer, I will be working at Yahoo as a UX design intern. And I'll explain what that is as we go through a presentation. At LAG, I was involved in news and notes. I founded the club Hope. I was also the president of National Honor Society and the club liaison for student government. I took anatomy, realistic drawing, and architecture when I was at CMU. When I was at LAG, sorry. But I regret not taking like more classes, as I was saying before. You go to the next page. So what is human-computer interaction, or HCI? It's the study of interactions between the human users, so like us, and computers. It covers a wide range of disciplines from computer science, art and design, AI, engineering, psychology, and even the study of languages. You go to the next slide. So, and what is UX design? UX design is basically the process of like designing products, anything from digital or physical products, to ensure that they're easy to use, they're useful, and they're nice to interact with. They usually follow a 5-step process. You would start by empathizing with the users. You learn about customers, what their needs are, and then you construct like a point of view of like their needs, and then you ideate. This is when you start brainstorming different solutions, and then you'll start to prototype and present a solution in, yeah, like a prototype. And then you test, and then when you're testing, you're asking for feedback, and then with feedback, you go back and you kind of fix like your prototype, or you could even go back to the ideation phase and come up with something new. Yeah. So what are some, oh yeah, sorry. What are some career outlooks with an HCI degree, or even any degree if you combine it with HCI? You can become a UX designer, software engineer, UX researcher, content designer. Basically content designers, they're like kind of designing what you see on a screen, like all the content in like an app or something. Full stack developer, front end engineer, back end, product managers, and even business analysts. People work in a variety of industries, from finance, tech, consulting, gaming. I have a few companies here. You might recognize them. Yeah. And then, so yeah, I'll start by talking about CMU's HCI program. At CMU, you could do the HCI program through the School of Computer Science, which is pretty competitive to get into. So I wouldn't recommend this as like the way to do HCI, but if you do have a very strong interest in theoretical computer science, I would suggest going down this route. CMU School of Computer Science is ranked #1, and we are one of the first universities to offer a major in HCI. So CMU offers HCI as a primary major, a double major, and a minor. To do a primary major, you have to be admitted into the School of Computer Science. So like as a high school student, you apply to CS, or you could transfer into SCS once you get to CMU. You could transfer from a different major, but it's pretty competitive. So I wouldn't recommend this as like the route to get in. The double major, however, is available to all undergrads at CMU. It is a little bit competitive because there are caps on class sizes, but as long as you show enough, there's a pretty high chance you'll get in. And as a side note, HCI majors at CMU, we take the same classes as the master's students in HCI. So all our classes have like master's students taking it with us. So that's why there's like a cap on like the number of students admitted into the major. And then for the minor, which is a lot less competitive, it's also available to all CMU students. They don't take the same classes as HCI majors, but they have 2 core requirements that cover a pretty good overview of what HCI is. And then I already said this, so if you have an interest in programming or software engineering, a lot of CMU's other majors like information systems, which is my major, and stats and machine learning, statistics and machine learning, they offer opportunities to pursue interests in programming and software engineering without having to go too deep into like theoretical computer science. Okay, and next slide. As for another way to do UX design, you could do it through the School of Design. CMU School of Design is ranked #2 according to Niche. There's also another way to pursue like UX design. I'm not that familiar with like the School of Design, but I know a lot of students in that program do minor in HCI, and a lot of their courses cover like HCI concepts, but more from like a visual perspective rather than research. Okay, next slide. And you don't have to come to CMU either. There are other, oh yeah, go to the next slide. Yeah, you don't have to go to CMU to become a UX designer. There are so many programs at other schools. Oh, wait, go back to the other slide, sorry. Yeah, this slide, yeah, this one. Yeah, so you could pursue UX design at many other universities, such as the University of Washington, UW. They have a Bachelor's of Science in Human-Centered Design and Engineering. Georgia Tech, they also have a HCI like thread almost, like they're through the School of Computer Science. They have a people's thread, which is basically their version of HCI. University of Michigan, in their School of Information, they have a UX path. UC San Diego, they have a specialization in design interaction due to cognitive science. and Stony Brook, they also have HCI specialization in the School of Computer Science. So CMU is pretty competitive to get into, but these schools are also pretty competitive. But if you have an interest of applying to multiple schools besides CMU, there are other options. Yeah, I think a lot of schools are beginning to create HCI programs. It's a pretty new major. I think my school only had it like 25 years ago. So it's definitely a lot newer compared to other majors. Next slide. And if you have an interest in the more visual side, a lot of schools offer BFA programs that I know a lot of people go to and become UX designers after. Like Parsons, they have a BFA in design technology. That's what my friend is majoring in right now. She also graduated from LAG and she also wants to do UX design. Pratt Institute has a communication design major. SCAD has a UX design. They literally have a UX design program. I think it was created in part with Google. So a lot of their alumni work at Google. I think California College of Arts, they have an interaction design program. California College of Arts is also located in San Francisco. So a lot of their students naturally go work at tech companies in San Francisco or in Silicon Valley. And also you could just pursue any major really at any college. UX design is super interdisciplinary. People come from all different majors, even at CMU's HCI program. Most people are double majors in HCI, not primary majors, because of how interdisciplinary the field is. So I remember when I was a freshman, I worked with someone who was a cognitive science major, and she opened my eyes to so much psychology that I didn't know at all. So it's better to work with people who come from all different backgrounds. And then my HCI application. I applied to HCI during my sophomore year. So this past spring, I applied and was accepted this year. And I basically just submitted a statement of purpose, which just outlined my interest in HCI. I talked about my research. I worked on a research project called Negotiation Toolkit. Basically, we just created an app that helps women advocate for themselves and negotiate. Yeah, I talked about how to transition from fine arts to HCI. And then for high school admission, CMU doesn't really accept supporting documents, so like a portfolio, unless you're applying to the College of Fine Arts. But I think if you express enough interest on your college Common App applications about HCI or interest in UX design, I'm sure that would be enough to demonstrate interest. Yeah, I could share my screen now. And oh wait, no, I can't share screen. Oh, if you could stop sharing screen, I'll share my screen. Yep. Yeah, so here is my portfolio that I submitted to CMU HCI and also to Yahoo when I was applying to my internship. Basically, here's some examples of what UX design could look like. This was my negotiation toolkit project. So this is basically an app I designed. Kind of looks like Duolingo or any educational app, but yeah. I think I definitely used a lot of my, I guess, skills I learned from working on news and notes. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but I was the editor-in-chief of News and Notes when I was at LAG, and I did basically a lot of design work on it. It could be better, but I definitely learned from that. Yeah, and here's some basically just like some research processes that I went through. You guys don't have to understand this, but we made like personas. Basically, a persona is just like a small like biography almost of like who your customers and users are and what their pain points are. Yeah, storyboarding, basically just like drawing out like the before and after of like your innovation or your app idea. Information architecture, this just shows like everything like in the app, so like the login page, home, and where that leads to. Wireframing, this is like the very low fidelity or like the grayscale model mock-up basically of like your app or something, and then eventually it becomes high fidelity, which is basically just like how the finished product almost looks like. Yep, and there's more projects. I could share my portfolio afterwards too if you are interested in seeing more projects. But yeah, I think we could wrap this up and do a Q&A session if anyone has questions. If not, that's okay.
Did you want to show the portfolio to get into college? Maybe that would spark some questions too.
Yeah, I guess I could explain that part. I did not apply to CMU for HCI. I didn't find out about the major until I got to CMU. So when I applied to CMU, I actually applied as an architecture major and transferred to a major in HCI.
Yeah, we'd love to see your architecture portfolio if you have.
Okay, I think I need to like dig deep for that actually. Give me 1 second. I want to see, I don't know if I still have access to my slide room.
Maybe more of your app that you made. That was really cool. Right, guys? See more of like maybe your current portfolio then?
Yeah, I guess continue to share that. I don't know how interesting it is compared to fine arts, but
If you have the fine arts that you use to get into college, I know my students would love to see that.
I probably cannot find that, to be honest. I don't think I have access to slide room anymore. Oops. But here's my regular portfolio that I use nowadays for recruiting. I worked on 4 projects. For my first project, I worked at a startup called Mindterra during my freshman year of college. This is like the period when I was like, oh, I need a transition. Like, I don't know if I want to do architecture anymore. Sorry, Mr. Biglis. Yeah, so I worked at a startup and I could show you the website. Basically, I just redesigned their website. This was like my first exposure to UX design. Let's see. Yeah, same process. I like kind of drew up the mock-up in grayscale, even sketch, and then did a medium fidelity, which is just the grayscale version. This is like low fidelity, all sketches just drawn on GoodNotes. And then I did like a grayscale model, and then eventually with color and pictures and content for high fidelity. Yeah, I don't know. I really wish LAG kind of had something like this when I was there, or even I just wish I knew about it earlier. But even though I didn't, I wanted to come and share with people at LAG in case they were interested in getting involved in like tech industry or anything like in that's not like traditional art. I mean, there's nothing wrong with traditional art, but there's other opportunities out there. I wish LAG kids knew about it.
Sherry, I have a question. For for a student who has never have any contact with coding or programming or writing code, how long does it take, or what would be your advice? What kind of language would be the first one to start with, to study a little bit? How, so like starting from scratch, someone who doesn't know anything, but is curious about it.
Yep, I went into CMU without knowing how to code at all. My introduction to programming class was a big slap in the face because I struggled through that class a lot. But I think I suggest for people who are going into UX design or like a career like this, the first language I would pick up is like HTML and CSS, which is basically just like making a website for yourself, like a portfolio even. I think those are the most important skills to know for UX designers. I know I was looking at Google's application because I wanted to apply for next summer. And I think they have that as one of their requirements for like the job, knowing HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript, which is basically just the elements, the coding languages you need to build a website. I know maybe later on, you'll probably need to know like apps, programming languages like Swift and like mobile app languages. So like Kotlin, Swift, iOS development, but I haven't touched that yet. So I wouldn't worry too much about like the programming side yet. I think a lot of it is just like storytelling, which is very similar to art, like just storytelling and how to like convey your design to like the user's needs, especially people who come from LAG. I think we have a very important skill of like having visual design skills. And I think I see a lot of that is missing at CMU. Like most people in my HCI major are very technical. So like when it comes to group projects, they turn to me because I'm the one who has the visual skills, which is not a bad thing. I think that is like a very good thing to have, a skill to have. And it makes you stand out when you work at like when you apply to internships or jobs.
Thank
Did
you.
you take
Yeah.
computer science at LAG?
No, I never took computer science at LAG.
Would
Yeah,
that be a good class for people to take if they want to go into this major?
I don't think computer science at LAG covers HTML, CSS, but I think it's good to gives a good programming background. Yeah, I regret not taking computer science at LAG. It definitely been easier if I took that class for my intro programming class at CMU, but you don't really need to take a class to do programming. I think you could easily pick it up on your own if you have time. Not easily, but you watch a video on YouTube, or even just watch a tutorial on how to build a website. It's a lot of it is online these days. Classes, maybe, I don't know. I feel like none of the art classes really give you like a deep, or not even, maybe an overview. Maybe join news and notes. I know they have a lot of
What did
yeah,
you
a lot
take
of people.
digital media at LAG?
Nope. And I also regret not taking digital
I feel like
media.
digital media would be a good one to build.
Definitely. Yeah, I think definitely. I think a lot of the software we use in UX design is like Adobe, and you use a lot of that in digital media too. And I regret not taking digital media when I was in high school. Yeah.
Sherry, I'm gonna call Mr. Stelle because he wanted to say hi to
Oh,
you.
okay.
So I'll be right back.
Okay.
He's just coming in. Yes. I wanted to say hello. Yeah, of course. Yes, yes,
Hi,
yes.
Mr. Staley.
Hi, do you see me?
Yep, I can see you.
Where are you?
Oh, sorry, my camera is off right now. I am at home and my background is not the best.
Oh, I was hoping to see you. But anyway, it's great to hear you.
Yeah, I'm at CMU right now, or not right now, but currently studying at CMU.
You're
I'm
where?
doing something called UX design. I'm not sure if you heard of it.
No.
Oh,
So
really?
this is being recorded,
Yeah.
so maybe I'll listen through it again. It sounds really interesting. Obviously, I couldn't do it. I'm next door in my painting club. But yeah, it would be fun to sort of see what you're doing and catch up. So you're at Carnegie Mellon, you're saying?
Yep. Mhm.
Wow, that's great. How do you like Pittsburgh?
New York is definitely a lot better.
Don't tell them that. But anyway, I better run. I just wanted to touch base. I'm very happy to hear from you,
Mhm.
and I congratulate you for your successes there at Carnegie Mellon.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so maybe we'll keep in touch.
Mhm.
You remember LaGuardia?
Yeah, for sure. I want to visit really badly, but COVID and my parents are very COVID conscious, so.
Oh, okay. Well, whenever you get a chance,
Mhm.
let us know. Pop around.
Yep. for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. All right, great to see you, hear from
You
you,
too.
hear from you, whatever. All right, be good.
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Sherry, do you have any apps that you've designed that are currently in the App Store?
No, but my negotiation toolkit will be in the App Store this summer. We're in the development phase right now.
That's awesome. What's the negotiation toolkit's main purpose?
Basically, we're providing like an app to kind of teach women how to advocate for themselves. So like there's a bunch of, I might pull up the portfolio actually. Yeah, so basically there's like a bunch of things like we kind of gamified the experience so that you almost feel like you're like learning through a game almost. So there's like different modules, interactive lessons. Let me just play this one. There's like different lessons. It teaches you different tactics. I definitely learned how to negotiate from even making this app. I had to do a lot of research because I had no idea what negotiation was, and I've never negotiated before. So when I was making this app, I taught myself a lot of tactics to how to negotiate. And this wasn't the only negotiation project I worked on. I also worked on another project that made an app for freelancers who are negotiating. We also found that a lot of freelancers tend to undervalue themselves, and they would like say such a low rate for like one of their like for their work. So from this one, I learned also a lot on how to negotiate. It's almost similar to the other one, but for this project, I did a lot more research rather than designing, because for the other one, we kind of worked with like my school's initiative called Progress, which basically already kind of helped women learn how to negotiate, except they were more in a physical setting. So they had like workshops and stuff rather than app. So we basically just like made their initiative digital by making an app for it. But for my other project, which is called Gig Prep, I did a lot more research because we didn't know like what was like missing in negotiation space.
So you're talking about negotiating for a job,
Yeah,
correct?
negotiating for a job. So like negotiating salary, benefits, I don't know, pay time off, a lot of stuff.
Sherry, I have one more question. Is it true? A friend of mine told me that in order to, you know, the different applications work on different platforms, different operating systems. But he told me that he's using always a Mac because it's the only machine that can, like, you cannot emulate Apple operating system on a Windows OS. Is that true? Like,
I think I've noticed most students at my school use Macs, but I feel like that's just a college thing. I've definitely seen people use Windows before, especially I know a lot of people who transitioned from architecture to UX design and they had Windows computers. Like most architecture majors have Windows computers because they're more powerful to run like different like CAD tools. But I don't think it's impossible unless you're like designing an app that's like only on an iOS platform. And maybe, but I feel like that's not true. I don't know. I'll let you know once I get started working. I start my internship next week, so I don't have any real job experience yet until next week. But all my experience right now.
yeah, it's gonna be great. I can feel it.
Yeah, what are you
I mean,
gonna be doing
your
for
work
Yahoo?
is amazing.
Oh, sorry, I missed it.
What are you gonna be doing for Yahoo at your internship?
I'm gonna be a UX designer for them. So I will be probably designing one of their screens.
Very cool. Who has questions in my class? Can UX design be applied to things like video game design?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I know someone who wants to go into game design. He's actually working at Activision this summer, which is Blizzard, I think. I don't know. Their company is a little controversial, but yeah, definitely a lot of people do game design too. And CMU has a very good game design program as well. I think a lot of students who do game design, they also do an additional major or a minor in HCI because a lot of HCI elements or human computer interaction, like it overlaps with game design. Yeah, I don't know. It might be very daunting for people in high school to hear this right now, because if I heard this when I was in high school, I probably have no idea what they're talking about. Yeah, it's just something I would want lag kids to kind of keep in mind for the future. Because I think when I was looking for people from lag or anyone really, I didn't really find that many people from lag who did UX design until like kind of when I was in high school and I was first starting out. But actually, I did connect with someone recently. She's my research lead on my current project, which is my adulting app that I'm making. She also went to lag. She graduated in 2015. So I was very shocked to find people. But she also told me that she didn't know about it until she got to CMU.
Yeah, one of the differences would be also that it's more like a teamwork, no? In terms of you work within a team, whereas sometimes artistic work is very individual.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think a lot of it is working in a team. Oh, sorry.
No, because it might feel overwhelmed, you know, all the coding, the programming, all the code behind the app.
I think
but you work as a team, I guess.
I have to admit, I haven't really coded that much when I was doing this position. I've been mostly doing the design side. Like, I think for me, coming from lag, I definitely do the visual side. I know there are some people who do both, but I am not that person. Maybe in the future. I have many mobile app classes I have left to take for my primary major, but right now I mostly do design part.
And maybe coming from lag, like you said, like definitely take computer science, digital media, like those classes would definitely help lead in that direction to maybe go into the next steps of
Yeah.
UX design. It's definitely more of like a college topic than a high school topic.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yes, you could take the APCS classes at lag, or I forgot what the other class was called, but yeah, I think those would definitely get you the technical skills to kind of, I don't know, transition into it, but I think it's not required. Maybe taking digital media would definitely be helpful, just to learn like the different tools. Will definitely give you a head start, because I know I had to learn those tools on my own, which was a little difficult. There's also another tool that we use in UX design. It's called Figma. Figma is very easy to learn compared to Adobe. So Figma, the learning curve is a lot smaller compared to learning Adobe tools. I could probably link some videos you could watch about this career afterwards to do a better job explaining. But I guess the difference between HCI and UX, HCI is more like people who do a research background. So like they'll like do research into like different, what's it called? Different layouts. The more research side. So people who go into HCI tend to do like a PhD or like do UX research, but people who do the more visual side tend to be UX designers. I had to learn the difference between those two. There's not really that big of a difference. You could become a UX designer from any career or any major. I know a lot of people who transition into UX design too. And a lot of them come from architecture. Sorry, Mr. Viglis. But a lot of them come from architecture, which is very interesting. I don't know why that is, but I don't know. Mr. Viglis, any comments on the outlooks of architecture as like a degree or anything? Any opinions?
Okay. Hey Sherry, so we're getting down to the end, near the end of the period.
Okay.
So I just want to say thank you so much for your time. And
course.
with your permission, can we share your slideshow with our students?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And of course, we'll be sharing this recording with them. And thanks for everything, because also, you know, one of the things we want to do as a department is, you know, prepare kids for the possible career paths that they can go to once they leave. And so, you know, all of our alumni sharing what they're doing right now gives us so much information about, like, you know, little workshops maybe we could offer where they learn more about these possible career paths. So yeah, thank you so much. Ms. Maniotis, does your class have any more questions?
We have been asking questions as she went, so
Okay.
I think we got all our questions out of the way.
Okay, great. So Sherry, I want to thank you so much for your time and preparation and planning for this. And thank you so much. I'm going to end the recording and end the slideshow. Or I mean, end the video. Okay, but thank you so
Okay.
much, Sherry.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
have a nice
Bye,
day.
Sherry. Thank
Bye.
you.
Enjoy Yahoo.
Oh, thank you.